Hello and welcome to another edition of Mailbag. What is Mailbag? Well, Mailbag is a feature of the channel where you guys leave lots of comments on the channel and I attempt to answer those comments, or if I can't answer those comments, I throw it out to you guys who have more knowledge on some of this stuff than I do. So let's get into the first mailbag of this session. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. Next comment or question comes from Los Ramos in response to MX1 USB connect correction VT3 and VT4, a video I did in January 2019. And Los writes, my new mic requires phantom power. It doesn't work on the VT4. I'm powering the VT4 through the USB connector. Do I need a USB charger that supports 48 volts output? Oh, interesting question. What you've got to remember is that USB can only give you 5 volts at 1 amp or 2 amps, depending on what you've got connected into it. But the units themselves tend to operate about 500 milliamps. So the question really is, are you operating it with enough oomph coming in to power the phantom mic? But not having a VT4, I can only answer this by looking at the specifications. As I said, the unit's designed for a 5 volt 2 amp supply, which is a standard USB connector. So if you're powering it with a 5 volt 2 amp supply, it should be enough to power normally a 48 volt microphone, because the 48 volt microphone needs voltage, it doesn't need current, and it's the fluctuations in the current that actually allow it to sense what's going on. So it shouldn't be an issue. But if you're not powering it, if you're not powering the unit with 5 volts and 2 amps, say for example you're powering it with a standard phone charger, the old style phone chargers, which tend to be 5 volts and 1 amp, then it's possibly you're not getting enough oomph into the unit to allow it to power the phantom supply properly. So this is what I would do. So the first thing I would do is find out whether it works when you're running on 4 AA batteries. This will prove that there's not an issue actually with the unit. So it could be that there is a fault in the circuitry of the unit. So putting batteries in should tell you whether it is or it isn't a fault with the unit. And second thing is, if you're running it from a USB cable from a transformer, make sure you're running it from a 2 amp transformer, not a 1 amp transformer. So for argument's sake, if you've got an iPad, that will be a 2 amp transformer. The ones for phones tend to be 1 amp transformers or 1 amp supplies. So just make sure you're running it from the right supply. If all that fails, to be honest, you might want to return it to the place where you bought it and say it's faulty. Next comment or question comes from Marcel Frihez. And this is in response to New Toys Please, an SMR I did in February 2022. And I'm assuming it's a he, writes, I am not into the cloud stuff, but was seduced to buy its clone by Behringer. But then, luckily, I went back to the Yamaha RX7 and Kawai R50 and Korg ER1. Especially that Korg makes possible replica 808 909-ish sounds, and is much more practical and, more important, cheaper. Especially the Korg 1 will be a classic in the future. As I commented on the FBO1 video this morning, there is something I forgot to ask. I know you own a CX5M, and now since you have the FBO1, I'm wondering, could you do sound programming video from the CX5M with its FBO1 cartridge sounds for the FBO1 on the CX5M? What did I say? I was hoping over the last few months it's probably more than a few months now, I will actually get time to get into the Yamaha CX5M. If you've been watching the channel, you will know that I've actually been floored by being diagnosed with diabetes, and my body is struggling to deal with that. So I haven't been making very many videos at all. But more recently, the Muse Receptor at this point in time has been taking up a lot of my time because it was annoying the hell out of me because I couldn't get this thing to work properly. Plus the fact it actually has been it was really cold in the workshop, and it's really cold in the workshop, which is why I'm filming the Mailbag here and not in the workshop, because it really is cold in the workshop at the moment. I'm not sitting out there freezing my things off. And one of the things I feel with this diabetes thing is my extremities, definitely my toes. If it's cold and I'm not keeping my feet warm, they really hurt. So I'm slowly working this stuff out. Now I have written a piece relating to programming the DX7. We'll expand that to the FB01, but I haven't filmed either of them yet because I just need to film a construct. What I've done is I've actually also got the DT7, programming the DX7 from the DT7 and programming it from the CX5M, and sort of kind of doing a bit of a, what's the difference. So look out on the channel. These things will be coming in 2023. I just haven't got round to sitting down and doing the filming part of this rather than the research part of it.